Welcome, Cameron. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. Hope we've got some information there for the kids. So, firstly, so Cameron's plays top team for the club now. He's currently centre back for the team. Yeah.
Yeah.
But got named in the Football Queensland. What is it?
Dream team thing.
Dream team. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they got named in a dream team at a right back, which is interesting.
I couldn't do that, mate. It's too much running.
But he's centre back for the club as well. Again, a young player that we've been brought into the club this year. So again, when we speak about the club structure and the what we're trying to build at the club, it is a very young top team. We're starting to put together a very young top team. I mean, I think we've only got a couple of players that are getting on in years, but
a couple of father figures. Yeah.
So firstly, junior career, you're a country boy like myself.
Yeah. So from the age I started when I was 5. I got 4 brothers, so I kind of just fell into football through that way. But started when I was 5, just in Stanthorpe, and they just had Stanthorpe Juniors as an association. Didn't have organised teams or anything for that, and then kind of divvied up the teams through there. So from 5 to 12, I played in, or 5 to 11, I played in Stanthorpe. Then I decided to go on trial for Southwest back in the day when it used to be the JPL instead of the NPL. Played there for 2 years, and then from there I made a Queensland team, and then into QAS and into the Raw Youth, and then into the NPL system after that. So
going into the Raw Youth, so you went into the Raw Youth at a late age for the Raw Youth, but back then it was a QAS system, so it was Queensland, like an NTC system that got in place now.
So from 14 to 16, instead of the Raw Youth Academy, it used to be the Queensland Academy of Sport. Yep. So we had that going on, and then I signed at the Raw Youth when I was 16, which was probably the normal age back then, which I stayed there for 5.5 years. And then we played in the NYL, which was the summer league, and then in the winter we played in the NPL. Yep. And then from then on I was lucky enough to make some senior appearances. Yep. And then that's pretty much what happened.
So with your senior appearances, so you played 3 games for the Raw top team?
3 games in the A-League, and then 3 games in the Asian Champions League as well.
The Asian Champions League overseas or here?
Yeah, so I played, my first game was here, and then I played a game in Thailand and a game in South Korea. Yep. So that was an interesting experience going over there, but it was good fun.
Interesting football.
Yeah.
So with your Raw program, so you got released from the Raw, and I know a lot of Raw players, they either make 1 of 2 transitions. They either go into the NPL, or some give up when they get released, and they get the jack of it, or they give up, or they go overseas and trial overseas. Why the NPL and not overseas?
For me at the time, I just think it was about, I just wanted to play minutes and get back to enjoying turning up to training and enjoying being around a bunch of guys and playing football again. So I think the decision to go back into the NPL was a pretty easy one for me, and just staying around family and friends and whatnot. So I just went out to Western Pride, and back then it was a very young team. We were a bunch of 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds.
And there were
a few guys that I played with at the Raw Youth and earlier on. So a good bunch of guys, and Graham Harvey, a coach that expected a lot from his players, and took time to develop a lot of us younger guys, and we were lucky enough that year to win 12 or 13 games in a row and then make a grand final and win it. So it was pretty special, but scored in the grand final, first goal for the club. But not many people would know that, because everyone talks about Dylan Wenzel Hall's free kick. But no, it was a good experience, and then decided to stay on for another couple of years there, and then as what happens in football, just players decide to go different ways for different reasons, and so our team kind of disbanded, and so here I am at Penpower now.
Yeah, well, Dylan ended up where he's
at the Raw now, so he had a good couple of seasons, and Harry Sawyer came back and scored 16 goals in 5 games or something for us in that season as well. Went overseas.
He's back in Melbourne now.
Yeah, gave it a crack overseas, and then he's come back.
Is it South Melbourne?
Yeah, South Melbourne, so it's good for him. And then we even had Andy Pengelly came through there as well, and he even gone and given it a crack overseas. So I mean, there's plenty of avenues in football. It just depends where you're at in your career and what you want to do, really. But for me, I just thought NPL was where I was at.
Yeah, and the overseas pathway. I mean, you know, a lot of kids say I want to go play in the Premier League, and you know, we had a young boy go over and trial last year.
Yeah.
He went to Spain, trained over there for 3 weeks, and was supposed to go over to Sheffield and trial at Sheffield. They really wanted him in their youth system there, but he got to Spain and couldn't deal with being away from family, and it's a long way to go for, you know, and stay away from family. It takes,
yeah, I think it's a pretty big commitment to move overseas. I mean, I think the commitment for me with my family when I was younger, living in Stanthorpe and having to train 4 to 5 times a week in Brisbane, I was leaving school at 12:30 and doing a 5-6 hour round trip every day. So I was doing that 4 to 5 times a week, which that's a massive commitment, I guess, on my parents' behalf as well. But I guess I was lucky enough to repay them in the way that I made the A-League, and I think that was probably a highlight was when I actually made my debut, because I got subbed on in that game. We didn't really know it was going to happen, and then my parents called me after, and just to hear the joy in their voice, it was kind of like what they did and helped me with was worth it. So it kind of made me feel good about what I'd done so far in my career. So
oh, that's good. Okay, so for the kids going forward, obviously, you know, we talk about the commitment. I was in the same boat. I live 5 hours from where I train as well. I used to get on a bus Friday afternoon and come home Sunday night.
Just trek it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. You know, it was one of those things. But we talk about the commitment. I mean, living close to where you train is always. It's easy, but when you live a long way and you're travelling a long way to train, and it is a lot of commitment. Yeah,
you really find out you love it.
So extra stuff as well. So being in a Raw program, obviously it's almost a full-time program.
Yeah.
But was there extra stuff that you did away from football that helped you?
I think for me, because like you said, I was training 4 times a week and whatnot. I think a massive one for me was more recovery. Yep. I mean, you train and you hop in a car and you sit in a car for 2.5 hours. I mean, it's not good for anyone. Yep. So I tended, recovery was probably a massive one for me, and it was just whether you could stretch or you could just go and, being on the farm, I'd just go swim in the dam for a bit and stuff like that. Yep. So my extras were purely just based around recovery and trying to get my body in a way that I could handle all the travel and stuff. But then also maybe even at training would throw in an extra few runs or whatnot at the end of it, just to try to keep your fitness up and stuff like that, especially if you weren't playing. Because match fitness is obviously a lot different to just normal fitness. Well, so if you're out of the side for a couple of weeks and then you get thrown in the deep end, then you need to be ready for that. So if you can do a few run-throughs and whatnot at the end of the session where you're feeling all right, then that always helps to top you up.
Yep. Very good. Okay, so moved from Western Pride this year, obviously, come to Peninsula Power.
Yeah.
How have you found the move?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I think Peninsula Power is probably regarded as one of the top clubs in Queensland, and if not Australia, in the NPL system. So for the guys to ask me to come to the club, I think it was a no-brainer for me. Yep. Professional setup and very welcoming, good bunch of guys and everyone behind the scenes. Very well established club and a strong supporter base. So to be able to be part of the club is I'm very happy with it. And
coming from a country background, I know it's the thing that drew me to the club as well. Coming from a country background, you're very family orientated.
Yeah, massively.
And Power's a very family orientated club. Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's friends with everybody, and that's something we're trying to build. You found that there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Mum and Dad. Well, when we were playing pre-season games, they were travelling the 3.5 hours to come and watch. So, I mean, it speaks volumes about the club, because I've always kind of centered my decisions around what you said, like a family orientated club, because it's something I want to be a part of. Yep. So I found it very welcoming, and I just you get that family vibe, and with that, when success comes, everyone's happy, and when it's tough, then everyone will dig in together and get stuff done. So.
Aspirations at the club? What are your aspirations?
I'll just, for me, I just continue to enjoy football. Yep. Just there's no point playing the game if you don't enjoy it, for a start. But I just think, we top 2 probably, win a grand final. Yep. I mean, everyone's got ambitions to win things and do that. But I just want to enjoy and just continue to develop and continue to make mates along the way, and yeah.
From a personal point of view, so yeah, I know you captained it when Jesse Rigby got injured. You captained at Western Pride. Would that be an aspiration at Peninsula Power? Would you like
Yeah,
to
I mean,
one day?
to be the captain of Peninsula Power would be something that you can put on your CV and you can tick off, and it'd be a proud moment to do that. At the moment, for me, I'm just happy to settle in and enjoy, like I said, enjoy my football and to learn off the players around me, and yeah, hopefully we can go, once this resumes, just go and win a title, and be happy with that. Be competitive, absolutely.
So training in lockdown. So we asked Jimmy and tell me what they've done in their lockdown, and obviously they've been, they've got their own little group of people that they work with. I know that you live with a couple of the other players as well. Yeah, so live in
and around them. We did like a fundraiser between my mates and I. We actually did a challenge of running between the three of us, running the equivalent distance between Brisbane and the border of New South Wales. Yep. So I think we ended up clocking up, 70 Ks within the month. Yep. Found road running was not my friend at all. I'm not a big fan of that. So more just trying to keep ticking over and get the home gym set up and doing stuff. But I think my body gave my body a bit of a rest and probably enjoyed a few too many feeds, but starting to pay for that now. But yeah, just trying to run and whatnot and stretch and stuff.
Yeah, we're going to have an 8-week pre-season, so that'll get you back.
That'll get me back into shape, hopefully. I think I need about a 30-week pre-season, but yeah.
Hayden McHenry has asked, what methods do you implement to control your temperature in games?
Hayden.
Deep breaths.
Yeah, deep breaths. Well, it's good to see Hayden's doing something. I don't really have any methods to control my temper. I just think if something annoys me,
Hayden's got no temper for those.
No, he's also got no personality as well. So yeah, shock that he's asked something.
I don't know.
Like
I seen a video of him the other night doing the drinking challenge. I think he's got.
Oh yeah, with the egg and whatnot. Yeah.
So.
Oh, he tries to fit in, but he gives it a crack.
Anyone else?
Just ask if there's anyone.
Okay, so any other questions out there, guys? So for Cameron, obviously being a centre back, so any centre backs out there, anything you want to know, what training plans he's got, what makes him a good centre back? Actually, I'll ask him that one. What do you think makes you good in your position? So for the centre backs out there,
I think. Well, I'm probably disadvantaged actually in a way. Not the tallest guy going around. So I think,
and we talk about this for players. You've got to work on, if you're not the tallest, fittest, fastest, then you've got to work on your weaknesses, or you've got to make your strengths.
So I think, through my time, and I really found it with when I was at the Raw, just being at that level, you kind of get exposed in certain ways, and you either need to fix it or you're out, kind of thing. Yep. And video sessions really highlight that. But I think I really worked on like my awareness around me and trying to preempt what's going to happen next, and like you've got to be kind of physical, and you've got to obviously contest everything that you've got going on, but you've got to just kind of I know centre backs is trying to have everything in front of you, but you've really got to work on what's around you and marshalling the people in front of you. I mean, like I've always been told, if you can get the people in front of you to do the work for you and you don't have to make tackles, then you've done your job. I think communication's a massive thing, and I think that's where a lot of people kind of struggle in a way, not able to tell someone to do their job. And so it's always important that during a training session, when if a coach is talking about a right winger, you still watch it, because if your right winger's not doing what he wants, and then you're able to tell him and you're able to help that out, then that's good. So I think if they can do your defensive work for you or do something that'll help you, then by all means do it. So I think that's what I really got going on, and lucky enough through the QAS and whatnot, like my passing's actually improved, where back in the day I was centre back, used to just be get it up the field and do whatever you want, but obviously the way things have panned out, you need to be a good passer of the ball, and you need to be all round kind of good. So but yeah, my height doesn't help me, but it's just you got to work your way around it and pick your battles, and you're obviously not going to win headers against people that are 6'5", but you just see what you can do next after that. So
we've got, how do you prepare for your games? Are there any rituals you're going through?
I'm very superstitious. On a Friday night, I'll generally make myself a pasta dish. Always, it's either ravioli or something like that. On a Saturday, I'm lucky enough that I don't have to work on a Saturday, but I'll generally sleep in probably till about 11 o'clock. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but I'll sleep in till then, and I have to have bacon and eggs for breakfast, and then either sushi or leftover pasta, probably about 3 to 4 hours before a game. And with that meal, it has to be a blue Powerade. And then on the way to the game, I'll get 3 bananas. I'll eat a banana on the way to the game and have a red Powerade on the way, and then have another banana as the coach is talking. Then the usual is just right sock on first, left sock, same all the way.
Blue and red Powerades. He was born to play for Power.
Yeah.
Blue and red Power.
So, and then even as far as putting my boots on, tightening them up, then taking them off, and then redoing it. And then after the warm up, I'll come back on and retie my boots. And I'm very, very superstitious. If it's slightly wet, I have to wear medals. I can't wear molded boots because I don't want to be the centre back that slips over and the ball goes through. Yeah, because
Steve Gerrard.
Oh, that hurts so much, so much. Yeah, so that's pretty much how I prepare for a game. But I think the big one for me is eating 3 to 4 hours before a game, because I've always, through nutritionists and what.
See, mine's not that bad, Nick. I only got to wear red undies. So I have to have red undies.
Oh yeah, no, I've got a lot. I've got a lot going on. It's just yeah, and I think I think I did one day. I didn't do one of them, and I got sent off, and I went, I'm never doing that again. I have to do it.
Are you superstitious with numbers? Do you have to play a certain number?
Nah, that's fine for me.
Yeah,
that's fine for me. I just think if something happens on that day that went bad, I look back on what I did before it. And I look back even through the week and whatnot. But if something happens good on that day and I've done something different, I try to add it in for next time. And if it goes bad, then I scrap that. That goes straight away and back to the basics again.
There you go. Everyone's got superstitions, don't they?
Yeah.
Some good questions there. So thank you, Hayden. Come on, mate. Lastly, thanks Cameron for coming on tonight. Brilliant to see someone who's been through the Raw program and is now coming back into the NPL setup and going to give back into the community football as well. So and again, there's pathways. Again, he's chose to go into that pathway. He could have went overseas and tried overseas and done that, but for him, that's the best thing for him at the moment. So that's where he's at. So again, for you guys that are looking at a pathway into football, then there's lots of different pathways to get into football. Just because you didn't make it at 14, 15, you can still go on and play. I think Tim Cahill never kicked the ball until he was 13. So that's it's never too late. We were talking earlier, me and Cam, about players that have gone on, players that were with you in the QAS system that have burnt out by the time they're 12.
Yeah, I think I had even through from 12 to 14.
We spoke about other sports as well.
Yeah, so from 12 to 14, there was players making Queensland and whatnot, and I was kind of always on the fringe of that, and like I didn't even know that the Raw Youth and stuff existed, where now it's all publicly known and whatnot. So, but I found so many players just invested so much time into football, and it's good, but I think it's almost forcing their love for the game, and they just burnt out, and now they're not even playing or just decide to play at a lower level and just with their mates and whatnot. But I just think it's important, like we were speaking before, I play cricket and whatnot, and I just think it's important to have something away from the sport, because at times it can be a very cutthroat and hard industry to be in. So to be able to go and play cricket with your mates, or go and play golf or something like that, or just go down to the park and kick a footy around or something like that, I think it's pretty much imperative to have something away from the sport. Otherwise you just get caught up in it too much and you fall out of love with the game. I touched on it at the start. I said, there's no point playing if you don't enjoy it. So I think you find ways to continue to enjoy it, and what I meant by that, you're always going to not like training. Like, training's a tough place to be, but if you get to a point where you don't enjoy scoring a goal, or you don't enjoy being around game day, then I think that's when I'd probably call time on my football career. But like I was saying, just have something else of interest, and we're speaking professional players do it, and Gerard Piquet's being a lawyer, and that's just a different interest.
Mm.
You don't have to go and be a lawyer, but it's something to take his mind away from football. And
It's also got Shakira, mate.
yeah, he's sorted, isn't he? The big man.
It's all good. All right, okay. So thanks again. Thanks
No
for
worries.
coming on. Some brilliant insight for you guys out there as well.